Shops. What is it about them that generates nostalgia? And what are the mechanisms that make them effective retailing machines? Murray John Architects have regenerated many high street shops in and outside London and improved established stores and department stores like Bergdorf's and Saks Fifth Avenue and a shop in Madison Avenue. We've helped shape the character of brands such as Penhaligon's, Lascaux and Harry's Hairdressers and supported many small shops such as Ahmed's Halal Bazaar. Like all architecture, it comes down to space, light, presentation and design. Firstly, outside. Dead shops, banks, offices and the blank walls of betting shops all stop the flow of high streets because pedestrians speed up. Shop windows are each a little art gallery enticing us to slow down and look. Secondly, as in this view of Oxford Street early in the 20th century, there must be a high degree of protection from the weather. Everything possible must be done to make the experience of shopping a delight. Thirdly, the shop front must be transparent. We want to see inside and be enticed by our experience of the outside. Putting nostalgia aside, the shop window was the apotheosis of Victorian commerce, and this is how they did it. This is a typical town centre high street, as it had become by the high Victorian era. Firstly, there are party walls. Ever since the Great Fire of 1666, there have been party walls. Traditionally, shopkeepers lived above the shop, so above are domestic scale windows in brick walls. The brick walls leave street level as open as possible. Then there's the advertising. For best visibility, the fascia goes high up, sloping downwards towards the street so that the sun doesn't dazzle. These are made of wood, glass, gold leaf, anything that attracts attention. There's a stone bracket to stop that fire raging down the street, add an awning, and there is the basic structure. Next, it's down to the shop fitter's mastery of fine display joinery and, by the end of the 19th century, huge windows. The Victorians had mastered the manufacture of large plate glass. The joiners offered many glazing options that increased the window area to seduce their customers. Unfortunately, soon into the 20th century, much of the shop fitter's art was lost and the trade degenerated, giving way to standardized heavy aluminium frames, much less glass, cluttered windows and huge and very ugly mass-marketed signs. Many shops are now so unwelcoming and it's no wonder our high streets are degenerating. In 2010, Murray John Architects were asked by Westminster Council through Paddington regeneration grants to help improve the Harrow Road, where a number of shops had let themselves go. All had been victims of modification, cheap installations of crude signage, aluminium shop window replacement, and inside dropped ceilings. The result was, in effect, deep interiors with little or no light. But we could see here and there the fragments of old brackets, rusted remnants of awnings and their mechanisms, and underneath cheap cladding, original surfaces, sometimes older signs that indicated that the shops had seen better days. Westminster's photographic archive revealed further proof that the Harrow Road was once a thriving trading street. Armed with all this evidence, we were able to piece together something of the magnificent original shop fronts. Elsewhere, we have Penhaligons build up its brand identity, designing all their early shops Bath, Chester, Mayfair, Covent Garden and New York. However, making high streets work is also about modernising. The modern shop, and here's one we built in the 1990s, is open up even more, predicated on the principle that the more the customer can see from the street, the more likely they are to come in and buy. This was Tocker, a clothing retailer, later sold to Jimmy Choo and now Bamford. The client wanted not only an extra floor on top and the front entirely glazed, but also, and this was a challenge, the basement, ground, first floor and even the top floor were to be one large continuous flow of space so that the inside felt like a generous Parisian haute couture where the customer could rise through the building with seamless grace. Modifications were achieved by tireless negotiation with planners and building inspectors to attain a high degree of fire safety without ruining the bright and open aspect. It's all about lively streets, light space, variety and seductive display, and always will be. Our buildings aren't only about high-quality architectural design. They're also thoughtful and subtle intervention that encourages people to visit and enjoy their high streets and businesses to thrive efficiently and comfortably.